Any thoughts on the team being the only team in the NFL to show up a primetime game?
That's awesome. 1 o'clock games. It's awesome. 1 o'clock. You knock them out, you go home, you get ready for the next opponent. You're not waiting all day in the hotel, all night, you know, and then you go up. Now you're on a short week, it feels like. So I got no problem, you know. And by the way, you can get flex 5 to 15. So who says we can't get flexed?
Dan Campbell.
I love it.
Sometimes you can be too candid because Peter King and I talked about this on Friday, I believe. Coaches want all their games at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday.
Right.
That's a dream for them.
Yes.
Because it's a set routine. You don't have all these funky hours, and we're getting home at 3 in the morning from here, and we got to go there, and we got to do this. No, every game starts at the same time. Exactly what he said. The problem is you don't say that out loud. What you say out loud is they don't respect us. We have to earn their respect, and we will. That schedule is a reflection that the National Football League does not believe in the Detroit Lions, because that's the message you need to be sending to your locker room. Privately, you can say, this is great. We got all our it's the perfect double whammy. You can use it to put a chip on your shoulder, and you also can take comfort in the fact that it makes your life easier. And he's right. They can still be flexed. Now, week 5, it's highly unlikely we'll see a Lions game before, week 11 or 12. Technically, that's there in the event you have, a star quarterback tears an ACL week 1, and all of a sudden that Sunday night game, week 5 or 6, is like, who the hell is going to watch that? That's why that's there. And the Lions wouldn't be good enough, I would assume, to slip into a spot like that, but who knows? Bottom line, though, is no primetime games. And Dan Campbell's right. It is awesome from a coaching standpoint. And just don't say that too loudly, because you want to be able to tell your players they don't respect us. They don't believe in us. It's on us to make them believe in us. Now, here's where it got a little interesting. The NFL scheduling makers did a media availability on Friday, and Mike North, who's the VP of broadcast planning, I think. I always want to get the titles right, and sometimes the titles are a little convoluted. He admitted it looks odd that the Lions only have one primetime game, but he justified it by saying that they got one of the windows, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Thanksgiving Day, which is typically one of the 5 highest watched games of the year. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have that? Or would you rather be in some standalone Monday night game that's going to draw 40% of that audience that you get on Thanksgiving? Or a Thursday night game on Amazon? And, that's the one thing that the NFL doesn't want to talk about. We don't know how many people are going to watch those games on Amazon. Just wait until that first week of the season rolls around. And anybody out there who's watching or listening, you're hearing from your in-laws. How do I get the game on Thursday night? What's Amazon Prime? How do I get Amazon Prime on my 32-inch Zenith TV that's been sitting in the corner of the living room for 40 years? Those are going to be all very real considerations. But do you want to be on that, or do you want to have that prime spot on Thanksgiving? And the way that he said it, Chris, he didn't say this, but anytime you say anything other than the Lions own that spot every year and we respect it, we always have and we always will, when you use it to justify why they didn't get a primetime game, there was just a sense I got that maybe they are starting to think strategically about those games on Thanksgiving. And when we are going to be as careful and as meticulous about all 272 games and when they get dropped, when they get scheduled, I just, for the first time, got a sense that maybe there are some people at 345 Park Avenue that would like to take away the Lions' entitlement to that game, that maybe they think they could put a better game in that spot.
Well, I hope not. I do. I hope not. I love the tradition of it. I mean, yeah, we've been, the Lions have not been good. I understand that. But, the year they take it away is the year the Lions will become a Super Bowl team, and they'll have like a Joe Burrow at quarterback, and we'll go, why the hell did we take it away? Let's just wait it out. It's a great tradition. It is absolute bull crap that they use as an excuse to go, we're not going to give them prime night games. I mean, that's bull crap. This is baked into the tradition of the NFL. It has nothing to do with the primetime games. So that I don't agree with. And then when you look at teams like hey, there's Houston out there, and the Carolina Panthers who have some games that are primetime, and you want to go, well, I mean, I don't even know, are those teams more exciting than the Lions? I don't think they are right now. Not with that head coach. I don't. So it doesn't make sense from that standpoint. It is a little weird. And honestly, the Lions, I think this is one of the first years in a while where I'm kind of excited about them. I mean, they showed some real progress at the end of the year. They got a coach who I think is going to sell it to his team the way you did. First off, he's going to sell them, hey, it's awesome. Screw the NFL. We got 1 o'clock games. Screw them. And then he's going to make it into, let's make them flex us into it. They don't want us. Let's make them flex us into the damn schedule, and then we'll bite off their kneecaps. That's the way. I think that's the way he'll look at it. But I'm with you in the fact that I don't like the hiding of the behind the Thanksgiving Day game thing, and I hope they don't change it. I mean, we're changing enough traditions in the NFL. I like Detroit at 12:30. I like that.
It's either a ridiculously lame excuse, or it's an opening of the door to ending Detroit's hammerlock. Because why would you point to that? They have it every year. That should have been the follow-up question. Wait a minute. They have this every year. Don't act like you're giving Detroit some sort of a prize. Well, we thought about we could have given you a primetime game, or we could have given you the early spot on Thanksgiving, and we really sat down and thought about it, and we decided to let you keep the early spot on Thanksgiving. That's what was weird to me. When you have that kind of a conversation about it, you imply that it's something that was given, and thus it's something that can be taken away. So for the first time ever, I thought, and would it surprise anyone to learn that there may be some people in the league office who are trying to maximize the eyeballs for these games, thinking, why do we keep giving the Lions this spot no matter how bad they are? They should have to earn that the way that you have to earn a primetime game. We're going to put the best teams in those spots, because whatever it is that we draw, when it's X versus Lions.
But they won't say that about the Cowboys, I bet.
We'd get even more.
Yeah.
Well, because the Cowboys
but hey, if they have a bad year, screw off. Get off my TV on Thanksgiving.
Chris, but the Cowboys draw no matter how good or bad they are. If the Lions drew no matter how good or bad they are, they'd be in primetime 5 times like the Cowboys.
I get it, but the Cowboys, I understand it's a reality. I understand that. But yeah, the Cowboys, I know they have a big brand. I understand that, but they don't always deserve all they get from that aspect. So I mean, I don't know the merits for the merits. I don't understand. I guess I'm just arguing to argue that. No,
but look, they opened this door. So it's either a flimsy, pathetic excuse for ignoring the Lions in primetime and not finding one spot for them. With 17 games, 18 weeks of windows, you can't find one spot for the Lions at night. You got Jaguars-Jets.
I know, that's what seems weird.
Stand alone, and you can't find a spot for the Lions, the team that you have picked for Hard Knocks.
They got quarterbacks.
You can't find a spot for them?
That's the other thing, too. It's the Lions and Jared Goff's their quarterback. It's a double whammy, in my opinion.
But and again, maybe they're just trying to be nice. Maybe they don't want to say, well, we've seen Jared Goff in primetime more than we care to. We have reached our lifetime limit of watching Jared Goff play primetime games. We would rather watch somebody who's going to be a little more competitive and show up. Especially, we know we can't put the Lions outside on primetime in December and January, because that's when Jared Goff is even worse, when you put him out in the elements. So maybe they're just being nice. But if they were just trying to be nice, it's still a flimsy excuse, and it does open the door in my mind.
Yeah, I hear you.
Why are you justifying this by saying they have that spot? They've had that spot every year for decades, and no one's ever suggested they're going to lose it. So that can't be the justification to give them no primetime game. I just thought that was very odd.
I'm with you.
Later in the call, there was a question about why the Eagles have so many primetime games, because really, what have the Eagles done in the past few years? Well, they made it to the playoffs last year. And this is where they said you don't draft your way into primetime, you don't trade your way into primetime, you play your way into primetime. Fine. If that's the standard, you play your way into primetime.
Right.
That's fine. Well, then why in the hell are the Broncos in 7 standalone windows this year?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, that's bull crap.
5 primetime games,
bull crap,
an early morning London game, and a game that I think is going to have gigantic numbers. CBS and Nickelodeon, the middle spot on Christmas Day against the Rams. They're making the bet that the Broncos have traded their way into the best schedule from the standpoint of visibility by getting Russell Wilson. Regardless of whether it works, they're making the bet that it's going to work. They're making the bet they're going to be competitive in one of the toughest divisions we've ever seen. They're making the bet that Russell Wilson's going to be healthy. He wasn't last year. It's a hell of a bet. Now, most of the games are early. Look at the left side. You got 4 games in 6 weeks in prime time.
Right.
You've got the Jaguars game in London in week 8. Before they even get to their bye in week 9, we will have seen them 5 times. There's only 2 on the back end. The only real risk is the Christmas game, because the Chiefs game could be flexed out week 14 if the Broncos aren't any good.
Right.
So their biggest risk is week 16. Regardless, though, you can't say you don't trade your way into prime time, because that's exactly what the Broncos did. They haven't been to the playoffs since they won Super Bowl 50.
You're exactly right. I know. That's so I don't know what to say. We know that's not the truth. And when they say you don't, draft yourself or trade yourself, that's bullcrap. I mean, it's some of the things they say sometimes. Again, I'm kind of sick of all people doing this, acting like I'm an idiot and I can't figure out. It seems to be like a new thing. Let me just say something because I think you're stupid and you won't really catch on to the truth. I mean, come on. That's the only reason they're on. It's because of Russell Wilson and the excitement there. But, yes, we haven't seen anything on the field. They're covering their butts, like you said, with the early season stuff, certainly. I love the opener. I love it against the Seahawks to start that. I'm all for that. But, yeah, don't tell me about the merits of prior seasons when you just throw a team out there like this.
And you know what? I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I really don't give a crap, because I thought about tweeting this over the weekend. I thought about writing it. I'm just going to say it. I watched, it was a 70-minute video conference with a bunch of reporters, some of whom, I'm sorry, all due respect, I've never heard of them. And I cover the sport as closely as anyone. And so many of them lead by saying, thank you for doing this. It's like, folks, don't thank them for doing this. They should be thanking you for participating. You are spreading their gospel to the world. They're not doing you a favor. You're doing them a favor. And that attitude of, we have to be grateful they're doing this, that, I think, undermines the willingness to ask meaningful follow-up questions, to ask a question in a polite, tactful way that may push back on some of this stuff. Hey, well, wait a minute. Now, wait. You said the Lions aren't in primetime because they have the early window on Thanksgiving. Well, don't they have that every year? Are you suggesting they may not have that? Is that what you're saying? That's the kind of question that needs to be asked. That's the follow-up that doesn't get asked. Now, wait a minute. You just said, hey, I got one more question. Before we go, I got one more question. You said earlier you don't trade your way into primetime, and now you just said you got 7 national windows, standalone windows for the Broncos. What did they do to earn that spot? Can you help me understand that? But when 70% of the reporters on the call begin by thanking them profusely for doing it, and I know they're just kind of being, I guess that's what you're supposed to say, but let's take a step back and ask ourselves, should we really put our lips on the asses of who's having this conference call? They need people to be on it. They need people to be on it. You're doing them the favor. They're not doing you the favor. But that kind of sets the mood, Chris, and that's why you sometimes don't get meaningful follow-up.
Yeah,
so we're left to be the bad guys 3 days later trying to explain what it all means. And there was a lot of
BS.
There was a lot of bull crap that was spewed during that, and there's some inconsistencies there. And,
So,
again, but isn't it amazing? The scalpel level scrutiny that is applied to the NFL schedule. The NFL has to love that. We are getting deep into the weeds of the nuances and the machinations of the NFL schedule.
I know.
They have created something literally of nothing.
It's more of a reason to do what you talked about last week. Forget they could release this thing over a 2-week span and still have people paying attention every day, and it'd be the number one thing in sports. I mean, the whole weekend was little tidbits of anything about schedules and this and that and that. I mean, fans love it. They eat it up. They do. I go anywhere. It was the first thing I was asked, Ollie, what do you think about this schedule? What do you think about that schedule? See, people are still talking about the draft. The NFL is still so king in so many ways. It's unreal.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.